I don't know, it's probably just a radio thing, but this kind of like an internal monologue for, well, not just myself. I think most radio announcers have this internal monologue when you're about to go on air. There's a voice in your head which says, I hope I don't make too much of a fool out of myself this time. And, well, that prayer often isn't answered. Embarrassment just kind of goes with the territory, and somebody who I'm sure can identify. John Cowan joins us on the program. John, kia ora.
I thought I could embarrass you by just sort of not responding then, and just
Oh.
sort of have you trail off into silence. That's another thing that desperately
Oh,
embarrasses
yes.
radio hosts, isn't it? Dead air.
Yeah.
And especially if it's meant to be you that's speaking and filling that dead air. But yes, isn't it interesting being in a career where the very next syllables out of your mouth could destroy your career?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
But hey, given how long both of us have been in the broadcasting industry, they haven't caught us yet. Embarrassment, though, it is one of those things that, I mean, hey, you get calluses after a while of all the stupid things that I've done, but we're still quite
Come on,
vulnerable.
share them. Come on, tell us some stories.
We don't have time for all of them, John.
It's good for your soul. It's good for your soul.
It's confession, exactly. But it is the sort of thing that does, I suppose, bring up a psychological hesitation, that in the back of our mind we go, oh gosh, I'm not sure I want to do this. I might embarrass myself. And I'm sure, perhaps I lean into it more than others. But for most people, this can actually be quite a serious obstacle when it comes to some of the opportunities that we might just enjoy.
Yeah. Like, I think we should probably pause now for a minute, because nobody is listening, because they are recalling things from decades ago that they said in class at school.
Yeah.
And it still leaps up and smacks them around the head with a painful memory of something they did.
Can I just throw one in there?
Sure.
Because it's not me, it's my wife, and I know she's not listening, but I'll get in trouble anyway, John. Other people will let her know. We were touring around somewhere. We were in England, and we went to this castle, and they had these waxworks figures in the castle representing historical things that had happened in this particular castle. And the room that we were in, a former king of England had died in this place. And so there was a waxworks figure of the dying king in the bed, and there were various mourners around the room, etc. And one of our young sons asked Mum, is that lady real? And so to demonstrate that the lady wasn't real, my wife went on her forehead, and in her head she thought, oh gosh, that's warmer than I expected it to be, at which point the lady opened her eyes and my wife swore at her. Yes, they had some actors as well as the waxworks figures just to throw things off. But yeah, I enjoy bringing up that story on social occasions, and she has a range of ones that she brings up for me as well. But yeah, anyway, I interrupted your flow, John.
Well, no, that was a wonderful example, because my next point was that embarrassing another person is considered to be a serious sin in Judaism. According to the Talmud, embarrassing another person in public is akin to murder. So there you go.
There we go. I may have accidentally murdered my wife.
I couldn't have expected such a vivid example of it on air as we're talking about the topic. But I think basically it's because our wiring, our emotional wiring, is designed for life in a tribe.
Yeah.
Where there is status, where your whole survival depends on being accepted by others and respected. And so if you do something which is dishonorable, if you do something which marks you off as being a low status person in the tribe, or you make a mistake, you feel that you're being disowned by the people that matter the most to you. That's the feeling of embarrassment. And it even extends more than that. Not only does the tribe not want to own you, you don't want to even own yourself. One of the most weird things about embarrassment is the feeling of abandoning yourself. You want to step away from yourself. People say, I wanted to die. I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me. And it's quite a unique sort of a feeling. I mean, you can feel angry, you can feel passionate about things, but this idea of abandoning yourself is weird. So, and can it kill you? I heard of a maid that was caught stealing food from a food locker, and when she was caught, she promptly just dropped dead.
Died of embarrassment.
You can die from embarrassment.
Wow.
Not likely to happen, but thousands of people every year, they reckon, die because they don't go to the doctor,
Yeah.
because they're scared that the doctor will examine their privates and whatever. And so they expect tens of thousands of people around the world that die of things like colon cancer and testicular cancer and even breast cancer because they're embarrassed. People die from embarrassment. And I think it arrests sometimes people stepping up and speaking out on issues
Yep.
at workplace when the boss, who is only another human being, yet we have this tribal idea that somehow a boss is someone that's a superior being, and so you can't say something. And so rather than say stepping up and defending a colleague or stepping out for a rightful cause,
Mm.
we're embarrassed. And I was at a swimming pool some time ago, and there was a great commotion down the other end of the pool. Someone was being pulled out of the pool,
Yeah.
and they did uh, CPR on that person for about an hour, but the person died.
Mm.
And I heard other people say, "Oh yeah, we saw the person lying on the bottom of the pool, but we'd feel stupid about going and disturbing them if they were just, you know,
Gosh.
practicing holding their breath or something." And
Yeah.
so someone died because of these other people's, "Oh, I didn't want to seem silly by getting involved and intervening."
Mm.
And so, yeah, embarrassment, medical embarrassment, social embarrassment, it can actually be very, very negative. It probably keeps us in line. Andrew and myself, helps us behave ourselves on air, but very often it gets in the way. And so, could I just say, couple of rules. One of the is your action that you're being held up from going to actually help another person?
Mm-hmm.
If you see a colleague heading up to the podium to make a presentation and you notice that some of their clothing is misarrayed, or so they have some soup still stuck in their moustache or something.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be embarrassing if you mention this to your boss or whatever, but it's going to be more embarrassing for them. So are you going to be helping them?
Mm.
Is
Okay.
it actually going to do? Is your embarrassment, your social phobia, going to stop a good thing happening? That's
Mm.
a really good rule of thumb to run over it, and maybe you'll find the courage to do that. And the other thing is, maybe we need to value ourselves and have a bit of self-compassion
Yeah.
when it comes to perhaps speaking up for ourselves, um, uh, allowing ourselves to get over an embarrassment. I mean, we could spend a lot of time now talking about how I've done very, very dumb things, and I should have just gone off and lived in some cave somewhere if I just followed my embarrassing my instincts. But sometimes we've got to forgive ourselves, get over it, say, "Hey, people aren't thinking about this as much as you are."
Yeah.
This is one of the illusions we have, that everybody's watching us, that everybody cares what we do. Is it good or is it bad? But they probably don't, you know.
My biggest concern in that regard is, I mean, embarrassment gets you so far, but if they manage to film that and put it on social media, I mean, that's eternal, John. I mean, that's
Getting over being, yeah,
if your
that's
embarrassment
almost
ends
like
up there,
a different category of being shamed.
yes,
Being shamed by a group, by society, by it's a bullying thing.
yeah,
It's an awful thing. And so maybe the embarrassment we need to overcome is to stick up and stand up for those people that are being shamed.
mm,
Because can you imagine the horrific sense of abandonment they're feeling as they're being shamed by that? And so, yeah, let's step up and be alongside those people that are getting shamed
yeah.
and support them. Yeah.
No,
Well,
very
look,
good stuff.
that's about as much as I can say without relating a whole lot of embarrassing incidents.
I've got some others that were embarrassing
Oh,
to my wife, but I've been sufficiently shamed and told off about doing that, so
uh,
I won't make that
yeah,
mistake again, John.
yeah.
But
Isn't it good that I didn't suffer from embarrassment about condemning you
yeah,
on air?
no,
That
that
was that the right thing? I don't know.
John, appreciate the conversation. Thanks so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Cheers.